Heavy bored.
It is unhinged exaggeration. And the same thing with this Roald Dahl stuff. I guess you didn't see it. It just came out these
No, I
last 2
didn't.
days here. We're recording this on February 18th, listeners. So when you hear this, it'll be a couple weeks and it'll feel stale, but it's still like, again, who's standing up for this? People are like the Roald Dahl stuff. Well, okay, the estate was sold to some fucking publisher, right? They are literally rewriting the books. They're rewriting the books to take out what they call, quote unquote, offensive language, right? And this is the same case. These are the same people that are saying they're harmed by looking at a picture. These are the same people that say they're harmed by a book sitting on the shelf, published, that they're harmed by it, right? It's not just that they don't like it. It's that they're harmed by it, and we need to remove it and censor it. No,
it can be offensive language that we still look back at and say, like, this was offensive, and maybe, like, you know, here's how we've evolved as society.
Well,
I think
that's
what we
pretending.
continue to do with, like, people like Flannery O'Connor, for instance. Like,
Well,
I mean, you know, what do you
coming
really
for her
expect?
too,
She
dude.
was, I mean, yeah, but of course she was racist. Like,
Yeah.
she was
I mean,
a white woman
right.
in the South.
During segregation, during legal segregation,
You know, and I think while we can be troubled by that, we can also
well, it's troubled.
still, like, yeah, I mean,
Troubled.
like,
They're not
while
troubled.
we can,
No one is troubled by knowing this fact that America was very like nobody's troubled. Like that's what I mean. It's a lie. Like they're lying about this. They're lying that reading a Flannery O'Connor book hurts them and stuff. Like it doesn't. It doesn't. It's an exaggeration.
okay,
It's incredibly
like,
hyperbolic, and everybody needs to just stop playing along with these people. And this Roald Dahl stuff, dude, they're taking out words like fat. They're rewriting this stuff because, of course, that's offensive. It's, yeah, so Augustus Gloop is no longer fat, right? They can't call him fat in Willy Wonka, you know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This is what it is, dude. Like, and we keep making excuses for it. We keep pretending that the people trying to censor art have some rational ground to stand on. They don't. They are lying. They are exaggerating. They're being incredibly unhinged and hyperbolic. They're exaggerating the harms, again, quote unquote, scare quotes, harms that a published book does to people. Like, it's absurd. We're living in a circus, and where are the adults? Like, that's what I mean. Where are these people that know that these people, like, this is not a rational ground to stand on. This is not a way forward. This is not healing. Again, the therapeutic language that they use there. This is not healing or dealing with trauma. This is censorship of art. And I'm so tired of excuses for censorship, for removing things from publication. Like, I am so sick of this. Like, it's reached absurd levels. And rightfully, a lot of writers are going after it right now. And again, not all of them. A lot of them are saying, oh, actually, they have a point to change all these words in Roald Dahl's masterpieces. It's like, oh, okay.
well, it just feels like very whitewashy. It feels
That's what it
like,
is.
okay,
It
like,
is.
let's just also, like, if he did say something that's really offensive, let's not write over it and just accept that it's there. And again, like, why
it's
would
a
you...
hyper, to say that he wrote anything offensive is a hyper
I know,
exaggeration.
but, like, just to play
it's
devil's
an
advocate
exaggeration.
here, even if he did, right?
But,
like, you
yeah.
know, the same thing.
The logic is sound. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you don't want to, I don't know, like, you don't just cover up what, like,
Right. Exactly.
what bad occurred, you know? I think
That's what I mean. They want to teach.
kind
Yeah.
of crazy to do that, but I guess I shouldn't say crazy either.
No, it is.
But,
I think it's crazy. It's crazy. And I think more
you know
people
what I
should
mean.
say it. Like, it's crazy to start trying to censor this in order to save the world from racism. Like, that's literally what they're doing. They're trying to save the world through censoring art. Like, it is absurd. It's illogical. There is no rational ground. These people are unhinged, exaggerating liars. And we should just start calling them that.
Honestly,
like, that's what it is.
If you want
they don't
to
care
be
about
more
books.
supportive of,
They don't care about literature.
The Black art community, like,
Well,
the
that's
best
the
thing
excuse.
to probably do is actually just to consume more literature and art by Black people instead of just pointing out who did bad.
Well, that's the excuse,
And that's
right?
my feeling about it. Like,
The excuse is
I
we're
mean-
trying to save Black people from racism. That's the excuse that's being
well,
used. And then it's just so, and again, if you challenge that,
well, I mean, not with fat.
well, that's the logic.
that's-
If you break it down, that's the logic behind it. We're trying to, well, again, with fat people, they're trying to save fat people from offense or fat people from shame. It's the same logic applied, right? So if we're trying to be heroes through literature by censoring art, by rewriting things, by trying to pretend that, yes, that, like, it's contradictory in terms of acknowledging the history, right? Like that's a line everybody uses where it's like almost everybody agrees, acknowledge the history. Like nobody's denying this fucking ugly history, right? But we are denying it if we're censoring works from that time.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just it's unbelievable. It's illogical.
I mean,
And I just, these people are liars. They are their entire job is to find moral emergencies that don't exist. They will manufacture them, and they will say that a book being published is so harmful. A book sitting on a shelf for sale is so harmful. Like again, like that, when you put it that way, if it doesn't seem ridiculous to you, then like you need to like reevaluate your situation in some way. It's so ridiculous. Like this book is not harming anybody. It's a fucking book. And we don't need to censor these pictures. We don't need to go to the lowest common denominator. And we just keep making excuses like we're trying to save black people from racism, like we're trying to save fat people from being shamed or something, as if fat people don't exist, right? As if you can't look around in the world and see fat adults, fat little kids, right? We have to pretend they don't exist because otherwise it would be shame. They would feel bad about it. Like, again, it's and that people keep trying to rationalize this away with arguments, but the problem is that the argument for censorship is not rational. It is an irrational, exaggerated, hyperbolic claim, and everyone thinks that we can just rationalize it away. We can't rationalize it away. These people are going to keep trying to censor things as long as we let them. And why I keep asking, where are the adults? Where are the leaders? Where are the publishing houses that care about books, that care about art, that care about literature? Where are they? Because they're literally bending over backwards to do this fake, illogical bullshit. And I'm just so sick of seeing it, dude. Like, I'm so sick of it. It's ruining the art. Like, it's ruining art. It's ruining books. It's ruining so much. And everybody's just like, oh, well, you know, it's a tough one. Like, no, it's just like the Hamline thing. It's not tough. It's pretty clear cut if we're doing it rationally, but we're not. Like, we keep pretending that these fucking idiots that are making things up, repeating things they heard on social media have a point. Like, they don't. They just want to censor art. They just want to be in charge. They want to control how you can express yourself, how you can do it. They want to control everything. Like,
I mean, I think there are some who are probably well-intentioned, right? Like, I think
they tell themselves that, but I don't think
you know,
they are.
With the case of the word fat, I don't think it's that they like want to pretend that they don't exist so much as they want to change the language around it, right? But either way,
which is still censorship.
It doesn't typically feel very helpful
because it's not.
But,
it's just censoring art. And then saying we solved the problem.
Like, I mean, Emily Dickinson was probably an uptight bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
But yeah, I mean, this will be talked about. We really don't
know a lot. I mean, I guess we could know more. We could read her letters, which I have not. Still really have not read most of her at this point.
Yeah. Again, they're going to come for Dickinson soon, too. This is what I mean. Like, it's starting with the kids' literature. It starts with the kids' literature, right? This is what people, oh, it's children's books. It doesn't matter. And then it comes Mark Twain, right? We have to censor the N-word out of Mark Twain. We have to censor all this stuff because
I fucking hate Mark Twain. Censor the shit out of him, see if I care.
But, I mean, I just, like, that's the thing, right? Like, and then that's the thing. And then apathy is an excuse, right? Like all of this stuff is just like, oh, we don't have to preserve our history at all. We don't have to preserve these artifacts.
No, I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it's helpful. I think if you're going to show
and then
Mark
we have to
Twain,
censor
you should
Emily
show
Dickinson.
him in all of his awfulness.
You know, I was as we were preparing for this, listeners, I was sending Sophie like pictures. There's like a few like mentions of Jews and stuff, and like some of the, and, you know, the lesser known Dickinson poems that we're not, but we don't canonize, but like, you know, they're in her collected complete works that we're reading here this week. And dude, you think that's not coming soon? Like, you think that's not coming? Like, that's coming. Like, if nobody stops, if nobody is saying, hold on, that's irrational, this is ridiculous, what are you talking about? It's a book. Like, no, like as long as nobody's saying that, like, they're coming for everybody. There was one edit to Roald Dahl and Matilda. They took out the reference to Rudyard Kipling, the British poet, right? Mm-hmm. They took out a reference to him and they inserted like Jane Austen or something garbage. Like I mean, you know, whatever. Jane Austen, people like Austen. She's an important writer in the canon. I'm not a fan, but I know a lot of people like her. Whatever. You don't have to like everything in the canon, you know? Like, it's just there as a record. Like, it's just there. I don't,
but I've really only read that one book, which is not known to be her strongest. In fact, might be her worst.
Well, they're coming for it, dude. We saw this with poetry. We saw this with Berryman. dude. Like Berryman, it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. Everybody is saying, oh, you're not supposed to read. Oh, we should censor it. Oh, we should take it out. You know, like all of this stuff, dude. Like it's not going to stop. And that's what really irritates me about it. And listeners can bitch. Listeners can say they agree with us. I mean, we're right, so they should agree with us. But like, it's gonna come. Like as long as people keep making excuses for it, keep pretending that people are harmed by an image, harmed by a metaphor in a book, harmed by written words on a page, as long as we pretend that that has credence, it's going to get worse. And this is what leads to all of it. Like it's absurd. And part of the reason that we started this podcast, I couldn't stand what I was seeing. I was looking around, feeling like I was fucking suffocated because everyone's saying, oh, this is bad. You can't read that. We have to censor this. We have to change these. Like, and I'm just looking around going like, is anybody going to say how crazy this is? Like, this is literally 1984 shit. And of course, everybody gets mad when you make that reference because it's not 1984. We're definitely not changing and rewriting books. And again, it's this excuse that we're trying to, you know, save people through censoring art. Like it is so Puritan. This is what the Christians did. This is what the Spanish Inquisition did. This is what the Puritans did. This is during the witch trials. Like they are trying to censor people for their own good. And it is so absurd. Where are all the writers? Where are all the writers standing up to this? Like I saw Joyce Carol Oates doing her usual kind of like, this is insane, but nobody else with any prominence is standing up and saying, this is insane. Stop listening to these children. It's just, I mean, I'm furious about it, obviously, you can tell, but like, you know, like I said, they're coming for all of it. So I'm glad I have a copy of Dickinson before they fucking censor that shit and you can't get it anymore. Like what they're doing with the Roald Dahl shit.
I think I just got rid of a copy of Going Solo.
Really?
Or whatever.
Yeah. Really
I think
pisses
that's
me
the
off,
only
man.
Roald Dahl book I still owned. I think I got rid of it last summer.
Really irritates the shit out of me. And because it's so fake.
I just gave my copy of the collected Flannery to a friend.
I was going to say, dude, you better be careful. That's the next one, dude. They're going to start censoring that.
I mean, that one's already sort of come under fire, and I think that's pretty quieted down, at least in, I don't know. I haven't been looking at, like, the social media literature world lately.
Yeah. It's incredible to me that anybody's taking it seriously, but of course we have PhDs taking it seriously, writing defenses of it, so it's going to get worse until somebody stops it, and it looks like nobody is. So listen to this podcast, subscribe to this podcast if you are concerned about this bullshit, because we don't stand for it. Fuck that. Fuck these goddamn Puritans, dude. I'm so sick of this Puritan bullshit described as being nice. Like, it's so...
Being nice, well...
Yeah. Well, that's what it is because, we're just trying to make it better. We're just trying to be nice to one another. That's all it is. We're just asking you to, you know, censor everything to be nice. Like, fuck off, dude. It is Puritan bullshit. It is witch hunting. It is persecution. It's the same thing throughout history. If you're the ones trying to censor art, you are not the good guys, all right? Like, that's just what it is. It's crazy.
Inner.
Resources. American resources.
Being bored?
Some activities are intentional, right?
It shows such a lack of gratitude for life. Bored. I aspire to boredom, I should say.
Bored. Heavy.
I am heavy.
Bored.
Has you the night sweats and the day sweats, pal? Pal, I do.